Hello, friends. Welcome to the October 26th, 2020 edition of Rant-Om Thoughts, where sacred cows are grilled, killed, processed, ground into hamburger meat, and barbecued for your lunching and munching pleasure. All right. Did my first virtual block party in October, the first one since July. Last couple of months, I haven't been able to get people involved, but this month I was able to get some people in on it. Usually I record these and post them up on YouTube, but this month I wasn't really able to. I try to keep my channel rated PG-13, and there were a couple of people. Not pointing any fingers, not accusing anyone. Mike. But I try to keep it wholesome here. Try to. Still fun was had by all. I was able to introduce my neighbor to my brother and his buddy and my pal Mike and his new girlfriend. That's probably the worst part about the lockdowns, is not going out and keeping up with friends and the changes going on in their lives. All right, now I need to really address something here. Something known in libertarian circles as Tweetgate. Back in July 10th, when the Libertarian Party held its the in-person half of its national convention, Jo Jorgensen delivered her acceptance speech for her nomination. On the same day, she posted this on Twitter. It is not enough to be passively not racist. We must be actively anti-racist. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag Vote Gold. Now, as we all remember, the riots were starting. And there were people who took her tweet as an endorsement of the communist-led street violence taking place in our big cities, as well as an endorsement of an organization that calls itself Black Lives Matter, which is founded and run by people who are self-admitted Marxists. And there was a backlash. So much so that the campaign had to clarify that this wasn't an endorsement of BLM Inc. or or the riots. She was trying to express sympathy towards Black victims of police violence, police brutality. Now, I was satisfied by that clarification, but there are others who weren't. And they keep beating this dead horse. Oh, she's, for BLM, she speaks woke. She's hung up on critical race theory. And the people who are doing that, who are beating this dead horse and keep bringing it up, tend to fall in two broad categories. Quote, libertarians for Trump, end quote, who are planning on re-electing Orange Bernie anyway. And so they've been reaching and grasping and looking for all sorts of excuses to not vote for her. And black-pilled anarchists who have made a hobby/career out of, throwing shade at the LP. The quote unquote libertarians for Trump, they don't, and I put libertarian in quotes because they're obviously not libertarians. They're just weak, pathetic, low testosterone sellouts who, who supported Trump in 2016 because owning the libs, making the snowflakes cry, was more important to them than advancing human liberty. Whenever Donald Trump would do something to facilitate the growth of the police state at home and the empire abroad, there they were, sucking up to him and defending him at every goddamned turn. Because, defending freedom and advancing liberty was not important to them. Owning the libs was. Making Rachel Maddow cry was. The impeachment happened. They opposed the impeachment. They applauded Trump's acquittal. They didn't care that Trump being acquitted meant that the threat of impeachment was no longer a check on executive authority, and that now Donald Trump and his successors will be able to do whatever they wanted without having that hang over their head. They didn't care about any of that. No, they just wanted to make Rachel Maddow cry because that was more important to them. And you know what? If somebody else had been the Libertarian nominee, like Jacob Hornberger, who would have been a better candidate, they would be doing the same thing. They would be reaching and grasping and looking for all sorts of excuses to not support him. Oh, look at this guy who has this kooky obsession with JFK assassination theories. I'm not going to vote for him. I'll just re-elect Orange Bernie. Justin Amash, who would have been an even far superior candidate, who was my initial hope that to become the the nominee, uh, they would have been looking for all sorts of excuses to not vote for him, to not support him. You know, why? Because they don't care about advancing liberty. They're libertarians in name only. You know, no, they just want to make the snowflakes melt down in next month. Though to be very honest, and don't get me wrong, a good snowflake meltdown video is good for laughs. But you know what would be equally funny? Oh, if Donald Trump loses and watching inbred Jed cry into his Pabst Blue Ribbon in his oversized "look at me, I'm overcompensating" pickup truck because their God Emperor lost. And there goes one of the neighbors slowly driving past the house with DJ Thuggity Thug on full blast, thinking everybody wants to hear that at 3 in the morning. Okay, it stopped. Now, as for the black-pilled anarchist types, their beef with Joe Jorgensen and the Libertarian Party in general is they believe that abstinence from voting, abstinence from any sort of civic involvement, beyond, of course, doing what they do, which is sit at their keyboards all day long and bitch about everything, it, is some sign of, protest or rebellion, though really all they're doing is just, laying down and taking it. Yeah, it's a very low testosterone approach to today's problems. They just lay down and take it. I mean, they think they're rebelling, but they're not. They're surrendering. But anyway, they've got it in their heads that people who are trying to do the right thing, whether it's the Libertarian Party activist working in their party or some liberty-minded Republican waging a lonely battle to bring their party down the right path. And I'll cut an episode on that later. Yeah. Or just somebody, or even if it's just somebody who eschews national politics but just sticks with local issues, well, that makes them part of the regime, part of the system. And that's a very stupid and intellectually lazy way of looking at it. You know, I mean, look, if you're so stupid and so intellectually lazy that you cannot differentiate someone like, say, Ron Paul from, Bernie Sanders, or you can't differentiate between Joe Jorgensen and Kamala Harris, then you're not really worth talking to. Get the F out of here, you child. Yeah. So, to my way of thinking, Tweetgate is done. It's over with. I've moved on from it because I'm a grown up. I'm going to continue supporting Dr. Jurgensen. Unless something really egregious happens in the next 2 weeks, and I doubt it will, I'll still be voting for her in November. In a little over 2 weeks from now, actually. And I'm not doing the early voting thing. I've decided I'm just going to wait till November 3rd, fill out my ballot, and just hand deliver it to the clerk recorder's office. I don't trust the mail system with my ballot. Not after knowing that the letter carriers union endorsed Bernie Sanders in the Democrat primary. Not after seeing videos from all over the country of mail trucks full of open ballots and shredded and soiled ballots of people who voted for folks other than Joe Biden. And because of this, I haven't gotten a chance to research all of the ballot propositions yet. And I have an idea about one or two, how I'm going to vote on them. But when this is over, when I'm done filming, I'm going to have me some homework to do. Sample ballot, ballot guide. Don't have a printer at home, so I'm just going to have to jump on Reason.org's analysis of California's ballot propositions. Even though I still have my differences with Tom McClintock, I trust his opinion on a few things. So I'm going to look at his analysis as well and just try to weigh everything. I plan on posting my ballot picks when I'm done on my Facebook page. And I will link to that post below in the description. I have always made sure that when I left home, whenever I would leave home, I would have a wristwatch on. I am a stickler for punctuality. I tend to be 15 to 30 minutes early for everything. Maybe it's a genetic thing. Maybe it's something I learned. I know that I remember my father being pretty big on that. I heard stories about my grandfather insisting that he be the first there for everything. But there's another reason why I always wear a wristwatch. When I was in high school, there was this girl that I liked, and she did a speech in front of English class on her pet peeve, people asking her what time it was. So in order to avoid annoying her, I decided to make it a point to wear a wristwatch from that point onward. And since then, I've always felt naked when not wearing one, especially when I'm not at home. This watch died on me a few nights ago when I was doing night patrol at a water tank. You know, and I mean, this was a very good watch too. It lasted like 6 years. It was kind of expensive, but worth it. You know, I like I prefer the Velcro band, Velcro canvas band. It's a little more sporty. I could wear it anywhere. But over time, you know, the Velcro started wearing off. It started, you know, this latch here started sticking out. And then, you know, the watch died. I mean, yeah, I could have went and bought a new battery for it, but truth be told, just buying a new watch is actually less expensive. Hopped on Amazon. The problem with just going to the store and buying one, even before the pandemic, was finding a wristwatch with a band that would fit around these huge wrists of mine. Fortunately, with Amazon, you can figure out your wrist size and find a watch that could fit. And I was able to get my hands on this beaut. Another reason why I like to wear wristwatches is whenever one of the ladies were to ask me what time it is, I could do this. Well, miss, it's 3:20. If you have Tubi, look for Death Kiss. It's it's a low budget action film starring Robert Bronzi, a Hungarian actor who is the spitting image of Charles Bronson. I'm not kidding. I mean, he looks like him, carries himself like Charles Bronson. I think they had to bring in a voice actor to do some dub work. But the premise of the film, you have a nameless stranger go into a town and you know, clean up street crime. The MO is very similar to Paul Kersey in the Death Wish movies, so that's probably why the film is titled that way, is kind of a nod to that franchise. Yeah, lots of you know, just a really fun flick if you're nostalgic for, you know, those kinds of movies that were filmed in from the late 70s up to the mid 90s. It's really enjoyable. And I'm looking for other work with Robert Bronzy in it. On Tubi, there's Once Upon a Time in Deadwood, which is kind of a nod to spaghetti westerns. And I also looked up Bronzy's official site, and his latest work is The Gardener, which, from the looks of it, might be like an action comedy takeoff of The Mechanic. The tagline on the movie poster reads, "Your ass is grass." So I'm gonna leave a link to that website below, so you can just see for yourself. All right, well, it's gonna be it for now. Got some homework to do, like I said. I will post my ballot picks in the description. I think I'll post a trailer to Death Kiss as well as Robert Bronzy's official site. Well, think while it's still legal, vote gold. See you next time.